Welcome to the Health Freedom Show, where we share tips, tricks, and real-world strategies on how to get healthy, stay healthy, and live the life you're meant to live. My name is Al Morenton.
And I'm Al's co-host, Meghan Hall.
And we are the hosts of the Health Freedom Show. So in today's episode, we're going to cover some current events, but the main topic is going to be parasites, like the prevalence in the world with them and the prevalence in the United States, like your chances of getting them. And then if you do, like how to overcome them and how to overcome them safely. It's a super important, and it's a big topic in the world today. So how are you doing today, Meghan?
Al, I'm great. You know, it's honestly, this topic is really intense. So I'm excited to dive into it and really get some intel.
Right on. So what do we have for current events today?
So when we talked about this topic, parasites, I dove into some research, and interestingly enough, our current events, we have RFK, our presidential candidate, was reported that he had parasites in the brain. Now, yes, it was dead, and yes, it was 14 years ago. But why bring it up now? Why is it relevant? And I just really feel like this is going to become a huge topic, mainstream. So I want to dive in and ask questions on, like, what is a parasite? Like, what are we talking about?
So parasites are basically, they're like a foreign, like almost like an alien, you could say. People know like what extraterrestrials are from like the sci-fi movies. So think of a parasite as an intraterrestrial. It's an alien being that invades your body, basically, right?
Okay.
And then it uses you as a host, and it feeds off of you. So it literally it is, like as a blood sucker, basically, and there are blood sucking parasites, or there are other ones that feed off of other kinds of like bacteria and fungus and different things like that. But they basically rob your body of nutrition, like literally from the food that you ingest. They could be in your stomach or in your intestines, and then they could be in your bloodstream, like you said, and just leaching all over. They're intestinal. There's ones that are on your skin. There's worms. There's flukes. There's all kinds of different types of them. But just think of it as something that is robbing your body of nutrition, and therefore, lowering your immune system, your ability to heal, and it will eventually get you sick and can actually kill you.
So basically, it's a foreign object in your body that's doing harm, that is not welcome in the body. Okay, interesting. And you had mentioned something. You said in our food. How do we get a parasite, and how many people get them? Like, what's the rough average of the world having a potential parasite in their body or on their skin?
So pretty much like 100% of people come in contact with parasites, like almost on a daily basis. They're in food, for sure. They're in the United States. A lot of the tap water has parasites in it, especially in the major cities like Los Angeles, San Francisco, Phoenix. Everywhere. Like I'm in the Phoenix metro area right now. So it's crazy that way. But definitely in meat, pork. I believe pork is the one that they are assuming that RFK had, because that one can get into your brain, and it's the most common one to do that. Like millions and billions of people have parasites or are infected every year, and millions die every year from parasites. Okay. So it's a big deal, and especially if you eat any kind of raw meat, like even like people that eat sushi, they're definitely consuming parasites. Definitely. Now, the caveat with that is that most people, if you're healthy and your stomach acids are, like at the low range that they're supposed to be in, like they're super strong, then you'll kill them off, just with your stomach acids.
Okay.
But if things get off, then you can get infected. They can burrow down. They can hibernate, and then something down the road can trigger them.
What are some symptoms? Like, how would you know you have a parasite, kind of thing? Like,
well, there's a lot of gastrointestinal problems, and people relate. They know about that one a lot, but a lot of things from stomach issues to like gastrointestinal issues, like even like things like Crohn's, colitis, IBS, all those kinds of things. Those things, they exist to a certain extent, but most of the people that have those symptoms actually are having those symptoms from parasites, and that's why like the symptoms will change from time to time. Like they'll go from the stomach to the colon, to here to there, whatever, because the parasites are shifting where they're at, kind of a thing.
You mentioned too that sometimes people are misdiagnosed for cancer and it's actually a parasite. Is that correct?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
So with the symptoms, real quick though, it could be like all kinds of different things from like being tired, like chronic fatigue syndrome, to being irritable, having cravings that you know you don't you don't want to do this, you don't want to eat that, but you do anyways. You know, that's parasites that they take control of your emotions. It's really really crazy. Getting back to the cancer thing. That's one of the things, even with the RFK thing, when they first saw the parasite, it was through a mass that they saw through it from a brain scan. So the brain scans, when you see a cancer in a brain scan, they don't really know that it's cancer. They just see a mass. And that's what they saw there. So they said, okay, we're going to do further tests. And that's why they want to do biopsies or whatever whenever they see that mass on a scan for people, right? Like we think you have cancer, we want to do a biopsy. That's what they have to confirm it. And that's what they did with him as well. So parasites definitely, like the eggs from the parasites, the larvae, that like they will mimic cancer, like little tumors, things like that. And then also so like little localized tumor kind of things, but also when like cancer spreads, metastasizes, and does all these different things, and it gets into your bloodstream and goes into different places, and it'll attack different organs. And the same thing will happen with parasites. There's something that'll happen where like the lining of your gut gets eroded, like either in your intestines or in your stomach lining, and you'll get this what's called leaky gut. And stuff will start leaking into your bloodstream or just into your body, period, into your cavity, and the parasites just go everywhere, and they can hit your organs. They can go up into your bloodstream. Some can cross into your brain, and then the larvae, the eggs, that they could burrow down and they could like just hide and hibernate in organs, even in bone and stuff like that, and then come out at a later time when they're activated by something. It's a really interesting.
Why are we just now hearing about parasites for real in the mainstream level versus, I'm sure this has been going on for a while. Like, why now? Are we going to start getting reports from people that maybe after getting heavy metals in their body through different kind of vaccine shots and COVID shots, do we feel like that's going to be reported even more so? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. So like in my world, like we've been dealing with parasites and working with people to help them, overcome, either stay healthy enough to not have them or overcome, get rid of them for over 20 years. We've been doing that, and it's been a big problem, like throughout history, kind of a thing. But it's more prevalent now because there's synthetic ones now. Right, there's ones that exist in nature, like the worms, the flukes, and all these different things, but you can get them from food, you can get them from being in certain rivers, waterways, and walking barefoot, and where feces might have been, from a pig or some kind of animal or whatever. That's a lot of people get it from walking barefoot on grass and dirt. That's where a lot of them come from. But there's also these synthetic parasites, and that's when I started working with them way back when, was with the Morgellons, and that was the first, because like genetically modified foods were introduced into the food supply, the human food supply in 1996. And soon after that, like areas that were Monsanto and the Roundup and the glyphosate and stuff like that, were the factories where they were built. Like these people were getting sick in those towns, and they were getting these little weird things coming out of them, little fibers and stuff like that. And you could actually see them coming out, and they were saying like, oh, it's nothing, and that's what they say for the parasites, especially in the United States. Doctors are very reluctant to admit that you have a parasite. Like they'll say, have you been to a foreign country? No. Have you been to Africa? No. Then you don't have a parasite. It's really really weird. But but the Morgellons is like a synthetic parasite, and then there's other ones that are that they've said that they found in vaccines, especially the COVID one, that came out. They're saying that they had that there's actually been reports, I can't verify them or anything like that, but there's been reports by multiple like MDs and PhDs and stuff like that that say that there are biological, in nature parasites that have been added into those shots, and then there's like mechanical ones, like man-made ones, and then all the other things that you hear about, like the self-assembling, nanoparticles and all that kind of stuff. Those are living things inside your body that are doing harm, and that are using you as an energy source to function and all that kind of stuff. That's a parasite.
Copy that.
So that's a man-made parasite, right? So that all makes sense, right?
Yes, it does. And it's enough to the point where, if anyone's watching this, like, I have notice the symptoms and maybe they resonate. Let's talk about recovery. All right, now that we've discovered that we might have a parasite, how do we move forward?
Yeah. So if you're like wonder if you do, then you probably do, right? And it's really, you need to find somebody that's very knowledgeable about them, number one, because people have all these weird concoctions or ways, just like when somebody has cancer, like everybody and their mother has all this information on what you should do, and then you listen to the internet and there's all this other information, and it's all it's not, most of it's not good, and can do more harm than good. And it's sort of the same way with parasites. So overcoming them is you want to first try to do it like in a gentle manner, right? To where you don't cause a lot of pain and discomfort for yourself, and because they become a part of you. They attach themselves to you. They're using your blood supply. They're feeding off the nutrition that you're bringing in. And like I said, that your moods, they become you. You become them. Like you are intertwined. It's like there's beneficial bacteria inside of you. Like you have more bacterial cells than you have mammalian cells in your body, right? That's a fact, and that most of them are in your gut. But it's good stuff, So that they're cohabitating with you, and they make you happy. And there's like serotonin. There's like a second brain in your gut. All this kind of stuff, right? So if they could affect you and make you happy, then the other ones could affect you and make you miserable, mad, and just like grumpy and lash out at people and do things that, like, why did I do that? Kind of a thing. And like I didn't used to be like that,
Right.
So that's a big deal, right? But so getting back to getting rid of them through a gentle manner is done through a cleansing and detoxification program, basically. Okay, and so the cleansing and detoxification program is something that's used to like to get healthy and just overall health and stuff like that. And they've been bastardized over the years, and they've been exploited, just like everything else does. And most of the cleansing and detoxification programs out there are they do more harm than good, kind of a thing. And they're done more for weight loss or to sell a product, like from a multi-level marketing thing or whatever, and the products have chemicals in them that you're trying to detox from and all kind of stuff.
Right.
So I was first introduced to cleansing and detoxification way back a long time ago in 2003, and I, through a MD, a holistic medical doctor, and a naturopath, and they sort of taught me about cleansing and detoxification, because I had a bad run-in with some meat that I had eaten in Santa Barbara, and I did their program, and it pretty much changed my life. It's one of those things where you see people today where they're it seems like they're under some kind of a spell almost, and they're like brainwashed, and like you could tell them the truth about something, and it sort of just glosses over them, and they just like those characters in a video game, the non-player characters, right? And
Yeah.
yeah, it's interesting, but that's sort of what the parasites do to you. You know, is they sort of like just put this shell around you, and you can't really see things for what they are. You know, because they have control. And then when you do something like a cleansing and detoxification program, like I have one called the 21-day reset that I've been doing for over 20 years, and when you do that, I like to say, like, you break free from that. Yeah, you break out of the eggshell, you remove the goggles or the blinders, and you're able to see things for what they are, and see for reality for what it is, and like it drops common sense right into your lap. It's
Right.
really interesting.
So let's talk about the 21-day reset real quick. So, it's basically this would help resolve someone that has parasites, is what I'm asking. Like, if someone was like, hey, if I did the 21-day reset, would this cleanse my body? Like, how would that help them detox? And, just kind of going into what toxic overload is from someone that is just not being healthy at all. Can you
Okay,
elaborate on
yeah.
that?
Let me show you. I actually have the,
Oh,
the workbook handy.
okay.
I'll show you real quick here,
Okay.
some stuff. But yeah, so the um the 21-day reset, it's basically, it's a cleansing and detoxification program, but it's a guided program. And the thing that's cool about it is that it's a gradual progression, so it's not super harsh on your body. Some of them, they start off too aggressive or something like that. Some of them aren't aggressive enough, but so a lot of them start off too aggressive, and then they don't know, how to actually understand if you're having uh good results from it or not, because sometimes there's things we call like a healing crisis, and things like that. But um but basically, when you're the first line of defense, when you're trying to, like, overcome the parasites, like as I mentioned earlier, is you want to try to do it in a gentle manner, because when you if you try to just go in and kill them, then, like, they're part of you, so you're going to kill off part of you, and it's going
Okay.
to be
Okay.
painful. Like, it's going to hurt so bad. It's going to hurt worse than any symptoms that you might have. I mean, it'll hurt so friggin' bad, because I've gone through it myself. I'm talking from experience. And so it's better to actually just create an environment within you that is unfavorable to the parasites, right?
Okay.
Because the reason they're inside of you is because your environment is favorable to them. You're eating things, that are that feed them. And there's this environment inside of you, and as we mentioned in the last episode, it's almost impossible to be healthy, in today's
Right.
world, with all the everything that's thrown at us, all the toxic chemicals and everything like that. So, and that's what parasites feed off of. They feed off of chemicals. It's crazy. So like, so that they sort of know what they're doing. Like they're destroying us and feeding the parasites in us.
Right.
So
Right.
there's powers that be, kind of a thing. So anyways, you create this environment that's unfavorable to them, and then they just leave your body and go to try to find another host, and we call that terrain modification. So you're
Trend.
modifying your internal terrain, to where it's it's something they don't like. And a lot of the circles that you see, like in holistic health out there, they call that, like, being like more alkaline, like creating an alkaline environment inside your body, and that's also the thing that they do to fight cancer, right? Is to create an alkaline environment, because cancer cells cannot thrive in an oxygen-rich environment, and that's what an alkaline environment is, and so the similar things that will fight off cancer are pretty much almost the same thing that will fight off parasites. So if you're able to get rid of parasites, you're going to be able to get rid of cancer too.
Okay.
So whether your cancer is a parasite that's just mimicking cancer, or the cancer, or you actually have cancer, or you have both, and the parasites are protecting the cancer. Like, if you can get rid of the parasites, you'll get rid of both. Just because they thrive in the same environment, in the same exact environment.
You had mentioned that you've gone through this yourself,
Uh-huh.
right? So you know firsthand what the symptoms are, all the pain of going through it, and so you've been able to create a system that would help someone be able to get through this. correct?
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
And
So,
very,
so
and
yeah,
very,
I learned, cleansing and detoxification, from two mentors, and and then I refined, everything nutritionally, and over the years, and I had, I actually, we should probably do another episode just on my
yeah,
experience,
I
with
agree.
Morgellons and with parasites and things like that, because I actually did contract Morgellons, and then I contracted parasites, and then they went dormant, and then and then the Morgellons went active, and then I got that to go dormant, and then the parasites went crazy, and then and I had to go through this whole little ordeal. So it's very, very interesting, with that. But definitely, I've learned, just like with the eyesight and the cannabis and all that kind of stuff. That we have, with the other things. My experience with the cleansing and detoxification, and even things beyond that, like like fasting and doing other kinds of things like for parasites, are firsthand and secondhand too, right? So I have the firsthand experience from personal, but with the 21-day reset, which is this thing back here, that workbook. It's a guided program, and I put over 10,000 people through it in person, and then much more than that online as well, but just in person, in Los Angeles, I did put over 10,000 people through it. So I've seen every kind of condition, from cancer to parasites to chronic fatigue to fibromyalgia to whatever it is, and every kind of reaction to it as well, so and that's super important. So we're able to help people to get through the detox, and guide them through it, because there's issues that can occur, and if you don't know that, if it's good or bad, then you can get scared and you'll just stop doing it, and then you'll suffer because of that, because you'll still have your issue going on.
So you support them throughout the 21-day reset, basically.
Oh yeah, with the
Yeah.
program, it's
Yeah.
it's not just something that you like here's some recipes or whatever. It's actually a guided program where you meet like every week. There's 4 meetings. It's 21 days. There's before, during, and then even how to come off of it. There's recipe, meal plans. There's check-ins and emails and all kinds of different stuff. There's a community of people that do it together. So you're not the only one.
You're
Even if you're an introvert and you don't like to be a part of the community, you still know that there's like 20, 30, 40
right.
people, other people that are doing the same thing, and you're not,
Right.
this sucking
Alone.
your own or whatever. So yeah, but
That's amazing. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, but like but like what is a detox? It's basically something. It's a program. So like with a diet is something that's bad, right? Because you could be on or off of a diet, and we don't do that over here at at the Health Freedom Show or at My Fit Life, my company. We have lifestyles that we create, like
Right.
the AWOL way of life, and these beneficial lifestyles. So it's not something that you're on or off of. You just live this healthy lifestyle. It's something that you become. However, a 21-day reset is something that you're on or off of, right?
Yeah.
It's a pattern interrupt. Okay. So because just eating healthy isn't good enough, especially if you went off the wagon and try to come back on, and you picked up some parasites or some kind of unhealthful thing along the way because of that. Just eating healthy isn't going to overcome that most of the time. You need to do something extra, like this pattern interrupt, like the 21-day reset. It basically resets and reformats your internal hard drive. Like putting the disk clean in the computer from back in the day, where
Right.
it make it like the day you just bought it, or defragging your system or whatever. That's what the 21-day reset does for your body. It's like it resets and reformats your internal hard drive.
Yes.
And so like everything can function optimally, or you'll start producing the hormones on your own. Like not, instead of just taking one hormone or whatever from this hormone replacement therapy place. Like you start producing all of the different hormones that your body needs to produce in the ratios that it needs to produce them in. Because all the switches get turned back on inside of your body, right?
Right.
So that's a big deal. But like the why detox? One of the things is the fact that we mentioned earlier, that all the toxins that we're bombarded with on a daily basis. It's crazy from the food we eat, the air we breathe, the water we drink,
Yeah.
all of that kind of stuff.
And then we freak out and go to the doctor and they give us pharmaceuticals. So it's like it's a constant rotation of toxicity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure, because like, and then with that, like a lot of people, they get scared if they do start feeling a little bit bad, and they'll go to the doctor and they'll stop it, and that feeling bad was actually them detoxing,
Wow. Okay.
and
Yeah.
and then the doctor actually stops the detox symptoms by putting more toxic stuff inside of you, and so that's why you go after like the root cause of things as opposed to just treating symptoms, right? And
Yes.
that's sort of that's exactly what the 21-day reset and then the AWOL way of life programs do, for people. But
And
yeah,
the 21-day reset, like it explains kind of when and where to detox and how to detox, correct?
yeah, definitely. The like the you learn, like the how to, in the program,
Gotcha.
like, and you learn what to do each week and why you're doing it and all that kind of stuff. But the 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 why, is because of the buildup, of all the toxins and stuff like that. Your body does have the ability to process toxins, just like it has the ability to a lot of times to kill off parasites. But there's this thing called a toxic overload, which actually was out down here,
Yeah.
and it's this thing like if you think of like a cup, right, and you're and it's getting filled up with some toxins or whatever, and and you have like a little bit of like a little thing where it can evaporate, like a little spout here at the bottom or whatever, where a little bit will come out. And if a little bit comes in, that little bit comes out, then it'll be able to empty itself out. But if more and more starts pouring in, then it can come out the bottom. Then it'll start to rise here, and then if it starts to overflow, that's what we call toxic overflow,
Okay.
right, or toxic overload. And you get to this point where there's just like a disaster inside of your body, and no matter what you do, nothing will help it, right? Until you do this pattern interrupt.
Gotcha.
So it's sort of like changing the oil, in your car, or changing the transmission fluid. It doesn't matter if you put racing fuel inside of your gas tank, you still at some point need to change that oil and change that transmission fluid, or else the car will break down, and
Yeah.
and so will you. It doesn't matter if you eat 100% raw, raw foods and this and that, and spirulina and all these different things, like all that stuff is badass. But if you don't do something like this periodically, preferably like once a year, then you're going to run into issues, and you're going to be susceptible to things like like sickness, disease, and parasites, and ultimately things like cancer and premature death, right?
All right, let me ask you this. Why are certain people so reluctant to take back control of their lives?
It's
Like why are they scared to do that?
yeah, it's that blinder thing, it's that NPC thing, like people, they're the the parasites are literally telling them not to.
Right. Right.
Like it shuts them down and sort of dumbs them down, and and they're also like people don't like to hear this, but they're brainwashed by the television and things like that as well, and all of this stuff is like branded as conspiracy theory almost, and
Right.
if you look up detoxes and cleansing on the internet, that you'll see like 100 people saying that they are bad for you for every one person that says they're good, and these people will say why, and all their reasons are invalid, and even the reason why they would do a cleanse is invalid, right? Because they're thinking of doing it for weight loss or for this or that, and that's not what it's about. It's about optimizing your overall health and vitality,
Right.
so your body could operate at the most optimal levels, fight off sicknesses and disease. You could be happy, and see things
Right.
for what they are, all that kind of stuff. That's having the vibrance of life.
Right.
And one of the only ways to actually do that is through cleanse and detoxification.
Let's say someone is very healthy, and they just want to know how to prevent and be like, just basically, what kind of prevention tips do you have for someone that is healthy and doing the right things? How do we prevent ourselves from getting parasites and all these other very creepy things?
Yeah, well, yeah, through doing a cleansing and detoxification program, like the 21-day reset.
Okay.
Like I was mentioning, like they're super vilified, but it's because people don't understand what it is and why they're doing it. That this is based off of the principles of naturopathic medicine, right, and they have the best strategy for cleansing and detoxification. And then my nutritional spin, that
Right.
I've developed over the years is put in there, so it actually optimizes the health part, because a lot of even people, that are in health, they don't understand how to optimize the body to dysfunction at max levels. It's really interesting, especially doctors. So like I put a little bit of a spin on it, and to where you're just able to be badass at pretty much at any age too.
Right.
It's really awesome. I'm 58 and I feel like badass. And like not slowing down kind of a thing.
Right.
And I've been helping people like in their 50s, 60s, and 70s, lead optimal lives for decades since I was in my 20s. And like I've had people like thousands of people like over the years like telling me like I feel better today in my at 48 or 50 or 55 whatever
Right.
than I did in high school. Like I feel better right now than I did in high school. And it's funny. It's amazing. But that's the possibilities that are awaiting people.
Right. It's just putting in the effort and persevering and just taking back control of your life, right? And
Yeah, and
because
then
your
finding
life's
the
worth
right
it.
mentor as well.
Right. Right. So basically there is hope. What you're saying is there is hope, there are solutions, and the game has changed, and we don't have to be a victim to just these scenarios that are playing out, because when we are eating bad food, we are having chemicals in our water and chemtrails and pharmaceuticals in our bodies. We kind of feel hopeless. So could you
Yeah,
just elaborate on the fact that there is hope, there is solutions, and
yeah.
we can just let us know how we can move forward from this point?
All right. So yeah, the one of the good things about right now, like there's all kinds of bad, whatever, but the one good thing is many people are starting to wake up to the fact that they really don't have your best interests at heart. What I call the global obsolete, or the powers that that be, whatever.
The powers
They,
that
they
were,
and
yeah.
they want to basically kill you off. And so people are understanding that they have to take control of their health now, but they don't know how to do it.
Right.
This is how,
Right.
right? This is exactly how, right?
Okay.
You 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 take responsibility. Say, I'm going to take responsibility for my health. That's the first thing you do, is you tell yourself that. Like, you literally tell yourself, I'm going to take responsibility for my health now. Okay, and then you find something like this. It doesn't have to be this. This is a proven plan. But you do the 21-day reset, or a cleansing detoxification program, to reset and reformat your internal hard drive, get your body functioning optimally, and then you go into a healthy lifestyle program,
Yeah.
something similar to the AWOL, a way of life program, or like the principles in this book back here, the Better Living with Whole
Okay.
Foods, right? Like that's a $20 book that has, over 20 years of experience at that point when the book was written in 2008. Like it has everything in there, like everything, even how to shop in the shopping store. It has every single thing. Even clip notes, even a fucking glossary. It's crazy.
Love
But
it.
yeah. So it doesn't have to cost you a lot to be able to do this. I mean, it's just a matter of doing it, and it's actually less expensive than going to the doctor and doing all kinds of stuff, because it's done with food and minimal supplementation, right? There's some essential nutrients, like the cannabinoids, the CBD, MSM, shilajit, some minerals, things like that, But other than that, spirulina. Other than that, it's food, and You know, there's no protein powders to buy. There's no keto bars. There's no medication. None of that kind of stuff. So it could actually save you money, you know, living this lifestyle and eating this way, and actually be able to enjoy your life and not be in fear.
Basically, be addicted to being healthy is what we're looking at, is taking back your health, which you always say health is wealth.
Yeah. Nothing tastes as good as being healthy feels, right?
Yeah, I love it. Now, let me ask you this. So, for anyone watching this that is curious about how to access the 21-day reset or AWOL or that book behind you, where do they go? How do they find you?
Just go to myfitlife.net, and you'll find, you know, information, or you could actually schedule consultation as well. You know, if you have questions about your health and stuff like that, we help people overcome and manage a variety of conditions, you know, from cancer all the way on down, you know, specialists in chronic pain and things like that.
I love it. Al, is there anything else before we wrap everything up? This has been very informative, and yeah, just a lot going on in the world. So I definitely am one of those people that of all the things that I can control outside of me that I can't control my health. I can take back my power as far as what I do for my body. Right? What do you have to say? Anything to leave us with?
Just a couple of like closing words, kind of a thing for this episode is, you know, like in today's world, especially, you know, hopefully you understand that you need to take control of your health, and this is the way to do it, you know, like through natural methods, and how to detach yourself, you know, from being part of the system, you know, and being a slave to that. And like I heard this doctor the other day, you know, he was like saying like you know, pretty much what I'm saying today, and this person was saying, hey, like how can I afford like I think he was from said to get like a water filter or something, some kind of a thing or something, and the person said, how can I afford? I can't afford to get that because my insurance is too high. Like, how am I going to afford my insurance? And the guy goes, don't cancel your insurance, you know, like don't go to the doctor. And he's an MD, you know. So that kind of a thing. So take responsibility for your health, you know, and there is hope. Cancer, it can be parasites, you know, just to you know, just to reiterate some of the stuff in here, you know, it's often misdiagnosed you know, parasites are often misdiagnosed as cancer, and both of them are super harmful. They can kill you, and they kill millions of people, parasites and cancer, every year, you know, like daily, you know, like people die. And it's something as simple as, you know, doing a 21-day program, and then, you know, and then doing stuff, you know, to support it, you know, through healthy living lifestyle and things like that afterwards, you know, and just taking that responsibility for your health, you know. The what the sort of like the tagline for the 21-day reset is just 21 days can change your life, you know. So, and you know, it's worth just doing that. And once people see what can happen, you know, and how you can feel afterwards, is you know, after just 21 days, like you get hooked after that, and then you become addicted to being healthy and then living that lifestyle, you know, and it becomes like this, what I call like a beneficial domino effect, or an upward spiral, you know, where all these good things just start falling into place in your life. And so one like little case study kind of a thing. I won't go through the whole thing, but there's just the ending part. This guy, he in Texas, he was a good friend, which is hard to have good friends as clients, you know, if you call it. But he did the jab, and he did the boosters and all that, and he was getting sick like every month. And he said, this last time he said he thought he was going to die. And he's like, and he called me like, I don't know what to do. I need to do something. And I explained to him about, you know, about the dangers that could be happening, and this and that, and about the benefits of the detox. He goes, that makes sense. I want to do that. And, you know, he went through it. He followed it to the T. And I won't get into all the details, but at the very, very end, you know, when we did like the little, you know, a little catch up kind of session to see how everything went, he said, I cannot, the first thing is, I cannot believe how good I feel. Like,
Mm.
I didn't know it was possible to feel this good, like, anymore. I feel so good. And I remember, like, just a month earlier, he felt like he was dying.
So, yeah,
Like, he was
exactly.
gonna die. So, and his blood pressure, like, one of the reasons they called me was 187 over like 120 something. It was like crazy, right?
Yeah.
And he ended up, like, after like being in the program for like 13 days, he sent me over this thing, and it was and he goes, I did this this, I tested my blood pressure like 10 times on this machine just to make sure it wasn't wrong, and he sent it over to me. His blood pressure was 111 over 68, and his heart rate was like somewhere around there, like 67 or 68.
In 13 days.
Yeah, and it stayed like that, and it's like that, like that was like 6 months ago, and it's still like that now, because he's still a client.
I'm definitely seeing an interview with him on this show at some point to get him on to talk about it for sure. That has to
Yeah,
happen.
yeah, but yeah, and there, like, I wrote down every single thing that he said, and there
Yeah.
were 25 items of things that where his life benefited greatly. Like, he'll call me up pissed off, like, if I don't have something on in the mail to him, stuff like that, because he depends on stuff now.
Gotcha.
It's awesome though, but like, he took control, and so can everybody else.
And Al, thank you for your service. You have been dedicated to this for over 30 years. Like, this is your heart and passion. So I appreciate your service to humanity. Thank you.
Right on,
Thank
I
you.
appreciate that.
Awesome. All right, y'all. Well, this has been an amazing episode. Started out with parasites and ended with solutions and hope. So yeah, I'm thankful to be here with you, Al, and I'm going to start the 21-day reset on my end too. So
Awesome.
that's it for me.
All right, guys, that concludes this episode of the Health Freedom Show. Remember, knowledge is power and health is wealth. Peace.
Peace.